most neutral map, if you want to call it that, quote unquote. Teams will prefer to go here afterwards just to have a lack of shenanigans, if you want to call them that. Unless you have a specific strategy developed for Haunted Mines or even Black Hearts, which is even rarer, the teams will prefer to take these to their first 2 maps.
And we're just setting up the lobby right now. And like you said, yeah, these are the standard maps we tend to see first.
Yeah, I just think we can probably go right into it. I don't really need to go to a break here.
No,
These teams are setting up pretty quick. Pleased to see that.
As I sit on the bracket screen for 10 years.
Yeah, you guys like those brackets.
Hashtag production value. Setting up the lobby, yeah, we're not going to throw to a break right now. Just boom, 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 get this tournament rolling here. We'll get the updates as we keep going, but once again, like Kubi said, if you type ! bracket in the chat, you can actually get the update live there. Now, just waiting on one more member, and we just need to rotate some people around here.
And I think EG gets host.
Is it losing team?
Yeah, I think so.
So, EG won.
You're right.
So
actually, no, I can't remember if it's alternate. I should check with Matt real quick.
Okay, production.
Tournament
things.
Such production.
So yeah, we're getting the lobby ready. We'll be ready in just a moment, and just confirming who has host here now. Host did in fact go to Wildfire for the first game. I don't know if there's actually really a hosting advantage. It just kind of
it alternates.
It alternates each game, or does it go to loser?
No, it does. It alternates.
It alternates. Okay,
yep.
So it alternates each game. So EG will get host. So we'll just let them know here. Okay, Kubi is informing them that they have host, and we choose which player will be hosting for this game.
While we're waiting, let's do something fun.
Okay.
Let's do something fun with the chat here. Let's let chat pick who we cast next game for round 2. Why don't we do that? How do you feel about that?
What if the other pair takes it? There is a second stream going on. It's
yes,
Zoya
actually,
and
we should plug those guys.
Zoya
right?
and Chimchu. I think it's Twitch.tv/Zoya TV.
Yep.
Is the secondary stream. So
our counterpart of Town Hall.
Town Hall is casting.
It is Town Hall today. Town Hall dominance today.
Oh, Town Hall dominance.
So, well, if let's put it this way: if chat's fast enough and they come to a consensus as to who they want us to cast next, then we can go ahead and claim that, right? So
okay,
let's see if chat has a preference. If they don't really have a preference, then we'll figure it out. But
all right, we are in fact setting up, just checking everything out here and making sure the lobby is good to go.
They're
debating
over who takes host.
Idra will be our host. Okay. All right, now make sure you check out Zoya's stream, and if you go in there, tell them that we sent you.
Invade their stream.
Give them an invasion. But our next game is just about ready here. And the ban has begun. Let's tell them to go to the drafting screen.
Okay, so we see the first ban coming immediately out of Wildfire's Stitches. They're scared.
We're going to look at the lobby.
They're scared of them Mookie pants.
Yeah, it's going to be Stitches, like you said.
Yep. Okay.
He
was playing well. Mookie Pants was. He made some plays, and he was difficult to kill. He was landing the hooks, getting gorges. The Void Prison follow-ups were there. Why not ban Stitches? It makes sense.
It's actually crazy at how much the meta has shifted in the last few weeks, because Stitches bans would have been unheard of a few weeks ago.
Absolutely.
It's kind of cool, though. It's nice, and honestly, with beta coming this Tuesday, Thrall and Sky Temple being added to the game, it's all, and probably a massive patch on top of it.
Right.
The game's gonna get flipped on its head.
We should actually mention that this weekend here is the final weekend of
Alpha
tournaments.
Yeah,
guys. So we'll be looking back at this a year from now and be like,
remember those days?
What silliness! These people were playing XYZ characters together. What is this? what is this meta? You know what I mean,
guys? This might be the last time you ever see my beautiful drafting screen here, because we're gonna have actual draft built into the game next week, and that's actually gonna be phenomenal. I'm as a producer of content, that is the most ecstatic thing I could ever see, because my life, the quality of living goes up so high.
Quality of living. So EG banned out Zeratul.
Okay, so
that means something.
It does mean something,
because they had plenty of success with Zeratul last game. So what is it about this particular map is EG looking at the situation and saying, oh, we don't want XYZ combo. We don't want Zeratul being able to do whatever on this map that they're afraid of. And to be honest with you, I'm kind of perplexed. I'm not exactly sure what they're going for, because there's no golems to steal. There's no, maybe it's oh, you know what? They're probably going to play Abathur again. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah.
And it's just like they're just trying to make it easier on the Abathur.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
That's the only thing that's really jumping up.
But even still, most Abathurs, like, how many deaths are they going to get a game to? Is there one or two? It's like not the scariest thing.
It's not the scariest thing, but it's significant. If they know that Wildfire has a reasonable Zeratul player, someone who's good on that hero, then why not?
And Hammer Chen, Hammer.
Yeah, Hammer Chen is okay. It's not that weird.
It's not weird at all
Because Dragonshire Hammer is actually quite good. You can siege up into the shrine area, and you can put down a ton of mines, making it nearly impossible for two heroes even to come up there to try and deal with you. So that's good.
But in the recent weeks, Hammer has risen in popularity not only because she's good on Dragonshire, but she has Resurgence. And these teams are running these 3 to 4 man Resurgence comps
That's also a good
pretty
point.
frequently. So
that's 2 right there.
she's essentially a ranged assassin, even though she's classified as a specialist that has Resurgence.
Yeah.
And there's no one else in the field that has that.
Right.
So
that's a good point. That's a good point to make. And the build that we're going to see out of Hammer is very similar every time. They're going to be building into extra range.
Yep.
They're going to be building into increased damage on auto attacks. Very few, no siege damage upgrades, I would imagine. Levels 13 and 16 will probably be reserved for knockback mines and extra mines. It's going to take probably first aid at level 7. So everything is just about how can I turn this hero into a walking auto attack monster, more or less.
And I mean, she's going to be a monster. Napalm Strike, I mean, we're not going to see... it's actually viable to get... You're the Hammer expert, but I've definitely seen you dabble with BFG.
I have, and there was a good amount of time where I was really trying to make BFG work.
Not on this map, though, right? Never?
No.
But Garden, maybe, for level 20?
Garden, sometimes you'll see the longest games on Garden. It might be viable there.
Okay.
But you have to take the level 20 upgrade,
the
Orbital, right? Orbital BFG, to get any effectiveness out of that ability, because the cooldown is just too long to get that, like, quote-unquote burst damage output.
Right.
So you're giving up Resurgence of the Storm to take this Orbital BFG, and I'm just not really sure. In fact, I'm pretty positive that has no place in competitive play.
Wow, okay.
Just because of how strong Resurgence is right now. Like you said it yourself, the reason you're taking Hammer is so you can have an assassin that has Resurgence. So why would you give that up? It's just, you're not going to see it. I'll eat my hat.
He'll eat his hat, he says. Well, guys, we do, in fact, see Nazeebo is picked up as well as Muradin. So this is likely going to be a Nazeebo comp that makes... I mean, we have Tychus, Brightwing, Nazeebo, Muradin.
So their last pickup... Oh, no, okay, I was going to say it's Tank, but I forgot Muradin. Yeah.
The name of the game there is Protect the Nazeebo. Now, Muradin and Brightwing, both, we say this every week, they're both counters and complements to Nazeebo.
Right.
So that's, already looking really strong. And Arthas Malf.
God, Malf's getting so much play.
He's so much heals.
100% picked. What a guy.
100% picked. But we talked about this last game. Tranquility is a really strong way to deal with...
Surprisingly, I know that's not the direction I thought the meta was going to go, because there was a while where everyone's like, how do we deal with Nazeebo's Ravenous Spirit? And it's funny to me that the end of the most stable solution is let's just heal through it. It's like, what?
Yeah.
That's the but it makes a lot of sense, especially at level 20 when he gets the speed and range upgrade on the Ravenous Spirit. It's like you can cast from so far away.
What? This is actually terrifying. Nazeebo, Zagara, and Tychus. That's a lot of damage output. You have the Maw zoning. You have the Emerald Wind. I mean, if you have a big Maw and they come out of that Maw with a Ravenous Spirit to greet them...
Yeah... That's
People
scary.
are going to die. People are going to lose their lives.
You also have crazy potential for Brightwing to get on the other side. And
Pop those big Emerald Winds.
Yeah.
It's... Some cool stuff can happen here, and the game is, in fact, ready to roll, guys. Game number 2 here between Evil Geniuses and ESV Wildfire.
Yep.
Round 1 here of Kings of Storm Weekly number 7.
Round 1. EG looking strong. They're going to be able to continue their dominant position here over Wildfire. We'll have to see.
We actually do a podcast every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. It's me. It's actually all forecasters today: Kubi, myself, Sham2, and Zoya. And we had Mr. Greg Indra Fields on our show this
We
past
did.
week.
What a topical choice of teams we've chosen here for the first round.
But we had some nice discussion talking about the future of EG
did.
and what their plans are and
Yeah.
stuff. And they're talking about how it's currently Faye, Idra, and LZ as the stable team, and they're trying out people like Kawhi and Fan. And right
LZ,
now,
of course, not here today for whatever reason. We're not sure what that is. But without further ado, let's get into introducing these teams. So for Evil Geniuses, on the blue side, we have Faye on Zagara. Idra will be playing Nazeeba this game. Kawhi Rice on Brightwing. Fan will be playing Tychus. Mookie Pants on Muradin.
and on the other half of the map, we have Chen Storm Snout being played as by Poom. Pickles on Arthur, so double tanks here available. Iacona will be playing Malfurion, and then Bims bugging out and Wargreymon on Valor. So Bims will be Hammer. So double tank with a lot of sustainability on. Oh, triple tank. Wait.
Oh.
On
All right, you know what?
Wildfire
You know
here.
what? I had one last game.
Yep.
That's your quota, though. You're done. No more puns this game. Chat, hold them to it,
So
please.
a lot of sustainability though. We have Malfurion here, double tank, and then the damage coming out of both Bims and Vala. I think we will see an auto attack executioner build coming out of Vala. And just looking at level 1, actually I'm completely wrong. Multi-shot build likely will be seen here.
It makes sense. So I understand your line of thought there, because you do have a ton of control, and that's usually the issue with Vala going in auto attack builds. It's like, how do I even get in there? She has some range to her, but is it enough? Can you get next to people without dying and putting yourself at risk? So it makes sense, and we do see that Faye is under quite a bit of CC here.
Yeah, and backing up, but Pickles, took a decent amount of damage, but in the front line, I mean, having 4 members in the bottom, they made sure to rotate down when this middle lane didn't have any minions to soak. So they didn't lose any minions of soak, and they got a lot of pressure done, but no one died in the process either way.
So let's take a look at some of these talents that the teams have picked up at level 1. Poom, Chinese decided to go extra damage on Flame. That makes sense because they decided to run double tank. They want a little bit of extra damage output. Sergeant Hammer, like I was mentioning, is going to be running a pure auto attack build. Wargreymon on Vala has chosen to upgrade into the multi-shot. This one gives it extra range. Poom is actually in a bit of a pickles here. I just couldn't stop myself. I was like, it was coming out. I was like, oh no.
Pickle wasn't even involved in that.
No, he
engagement.
wasn't, but it was
It's so bad.
Oh, no, it wasn't even intentional. That's, oh, God. Kevin, curse you. He's rubbed off on us.
Shrine's 1-1 at this point in time.
Yeah.
Of course, Chen did in fact tap his well, so Poom is healthy enough, but Mookie is going to have so much to say. Now, this should generally be a very static lane, and, I don't think Poom's going to give that up.
Yeah,
But he doesn't need it right now because bottom lane is currently being contested. Ooh, look at that wall there, zoning Pickles
Actually,
on
really,
in,
really
and
nice.
he's actually going to fall for that. Oh, as I say that, the shield ally, or the protective shield coming out of Malfurion, able to keep him alive.
Very recently picked up at level 4 there.
So
Poor
low.
Malfurion.
3 hearts coming out in this bottom lane, and with Nazeeba Zagara
Oh, it's going to
here,
be pressure, heavy pressure right here.
tons of pressure.
But they don't exactly know that yet, so they can't commit super hard, but
They do know. They know now.
they know
'cause
now
There's been no
there's no
reaction.
ammo, and they are pushing hard. And they already picked up a Dragon Knight. We didn't even get a chance to look at this, but
We saw it happening, but
Yeah.
that's like the story. We have the big push with the Dragon Knight in
Yeah.
the middle, and then these two pushing in bottom.
Yeah,
like,
this is bad. This is a bad start for Wildfire here. We actually usually don't see that much accomplished out of the Dragon Knight if you get it like within the first 5 minutes of the game. But because we have this ridiculous split push coming down here on bottom, as long as no one dies on EG, we're going to see all 4 of those towers taken out, and maybe even some really heavy pressure onto one of the forts.
I want to know if it would have been a better choice for them to actually die than rather retreat, barely survive, half the hearth back, and then come back on down into the mat, because dying might have been quicker than turning the game. And they've lost so much already. I mean, level 6 has been attained here, and we'll see those level 7 talents pop up right now. Here they are for EG. Now we have rapid incubation here for Zagara, first aid for Tychus. Of course, going for Gust of Healing instead of Regenerative Brains of Brightwing. That's a
Merc Lord?
yeah.
Merc Lord? Okay. There's a lot of options for Nazemo to take at level 7 here. More often than not, we see them take Gidbin. This just improves the ability of like all of his trait, his heroic, everything. So that's what you see 70% of the time. Sometimes you see them take Clairvoyance for a little bit of extra vision on certain areas. More often than not, we see that on Cursed Hollow. But Merc Lord. And I think that this is really pointing to them. They want to put a ton of pressure onto the bottom lane. And we already see that they've taken Bolt Giants. Really nice Howling Blast.
It really gets in the front line, takes a lot of damage, but like you said, the Howling Blast was good, but the wall actually zoned out his 2 allies putting Arthas kind of out of position there, and they were able to pick up that kill on him. So really nice.
I think we're going to see Idra and Faye probably rotate down just to provide support, or just split push here. Either's fine, now that I think about it. It's like they have to respond to those giants.
Yeah, I mean, look, all these towers are dead. That's a level lead. I mean, they're already level 9. 10's going to be a huge power swing for them. They're actually, like you said, Merc Lord.
This is so cool. I like this approach. This map here. I mean, it's such a surprise from the typical meta here to see someone go Merc Lord and then just immediately switch their focus right over to taking Merc camps and applying pressure that way. It's cool. It's cool to see.
Merc Lord Knights are actually so real.
Yeah, they can soak up a ton of tower shots, and we see them rotating up. They're going to just provide support for it, and they've put so much pressure on both of these lanes. Look how much of an experience lead they have. They're already level 10. They're over a level and a half experience advantage, and hitting level 10 that much further ahead of your enemy team, like, you can take team fights for days.
The Knights are now reaching this wall, and the towers are already down because the aggression is so real. Like you said, they have level 10. They have no reason to worry about the shrines. They have all the right in the world to push right now, and that's exactly what they're doing.
And Wildfire has to be so careful defending here. Like, any wrong slip up, they're just going to get caught out by a zombie wall or something, and that guy's dead. There's no way the rest of the team can even move up to save him.
Now we have Brightwing soaking the bottom lane against an Althurian. Plenty safe doing that. They're not soaking mid here for EG, but they got a fort, and it's well worth it. That tower should fall as well, as that one Knight is doing some work.
Blink heal.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
No, I actually like Blink heal with this team. Emerald Wind might seem like the really clear option because you have Nazebo, but part of it comes down to stylistic choice because Blink Heal gives you a ton of sustainability. But when you have a really strong advantage this early, they're trying to end early, I think.
Yeah, and this will just allow them to like be standing next to forts, next to the core, keep whatever, and just have that sustain going into just continuing to pressure forward. You're right, it does make a lot of sense. I think it may have been a snap call, you know, going right into level 9. There, it's like, okay, we're just about to hit level 10. We have a massive advantage, and if we can just roll forward and keep this advantage, whatever heroics we can pick up to secure that, why not grab them? It's a pretty nice snap call. I would love to talk to Quiet Rice after just to see if that was his line of thought, because it makes a lot of sense.
Now, if you don't know anything about Quiet Rice, you're saying, who is that guy? I've never seen his name before. He's actually a former StarCraft 2 pro player, much like Idro and LZ.
Yep.
So I find it very fitting to see him here on this team. I mean, they've known each other for many years, and it's nice to see him playing Heroes of the Storm. Now, again, Mercs, the map is just red right now. Quiet Rice actually opting to take that because he couldn't still out long enough. I'm pretty sure he used his bribe sex on that, almost certain. And even though they didn't get the Merc Lord bonus on that, as the Nazebo was busy getting the Merc Lords on the bottom Knights.
Look at this. So, yeah, you're right. EG has every Merc camp taken on the map except for the one that's available, which is their Giants.
And I'm sure they'll take that after they get
Yeah,
the
there's
point.
no reason they wouldn't be able to. It's be so hard for Wildfire to move that far in and take that.
Now, level 10 has been achieved here for both teams, and the big Mock goes down and takes people out. Panda Palace used very early on, and a big Rain of Vengeance is doing a lot of work. Idra is going to fall to this. Mookie needs to back on up, and Wildfire is taking a big team fight right now.
They are. Actually, what ended up happening there was we saw the Ravenous Spirit pop. They didn't cancel it out, but they applied a ton of pressure to Idra in that situation. That's why you saw him die first.
Now, War Greymon ends up falling as well, so that's 1 for 1. That hammer hits both Bims and Pickles, and they are both going to fall as a result.
Ooh.
Huge play by Mookie Pants. And
Yeah.
EG's just going to turn around and continue grabbing the Mercs.
Yeah, they lost Idra early, but they were able to clean that up, and you're right. They actually will probably save this and wait for Idra to get over to cap and get that bonus on the Merc Lord. Actually, we didn't even really talk about what Merc Lord does. It powers up the mercenary camps, where in this case the Giants get a 50% bonus to their attack power, and the Knights get a 50% bonus to their HP. So.
It's a really strong talent. It makes mercenaries so much stronger, and it makes them really scary. Now, Faye is in fact going to be grabbing the next Dragonite here, second Dragonite of the game, and applying pressure on the middle lane. All members of each team are alive, but heroics are on cooldown for most members.
Yeah, that's a good point to make. Including Zagara is now inside the Dragonite, so she can't use Law. So we're going to see, I would imagine, a passive fight, but apparently not.
Now, Kawhi can Blink Heal out of here, potentially. The Pulse actually keeping him alive, dodging that Napalm Strike very nicely. Pickles is going to end up getting very low, doesn't actually fall to the grenade, just barely surviving with the heal of Iacona.
And the boot.
And he's able to tap the well, so Pickles coming back into the fight here, but we see 2 Hearts coming out, and that's going to be a backup out of Wildfire.
Army of the Dead, man. It's pretty strong.
It's pretty okay talent.
Yeah, it's pretty okay. That's, of course, the heroic talent that Arthas has chosen to take this game and essentially summons a bunch of ghouls, but he can tap every couple seconds and gain a bunch of HP. So you'll see he will put himself into very precarious positions in team fights, places where he should die in theory. Anybody else would die.
Idra's looking for that Ravenous Spirit positioning right now. He's positioning himself in the top. He throws down that wall, and he throws it down almost instantaneously. Iacona is forced to use Tranquility reactively.
They don't know he's there.
Through,
oh, now
it
they
doesn't
do.
matter. It doesn't matter. Yeah, they found him, and they've actually have him body blocked here by Boom. Nicely done. Idra's trying to fight his way through, and his team should be able to get him out of it.
Yeah. So you guys can see the line that's coming out, the line between Idra and his Ravenous Spirit. Enemy team doesn't see that. They just see a Ravenous Spirit on the map, and they're like, where is that coming from? They don't know. They have to figure out what position Idra is hiding in.
I always forget that as a caster, since I cast more than I
know,
play
it's like,
lately.
how do they not see it? How do they not walk up there and kill him?
And look at this.
Yeah.
He didn't cap it. He bribed it. He's waiting for Idra to cap it. Idra has to cap, be in that circle to get the Merc Lord bonus.
Yeah, you can
That's
see the
why
little
you
swirlies around them. That's how you know that they have gotten that bonus. Good play.
I mean, EG is looking great right now.
They
They're
look
level
super
16,
solid. Are you
over
kidding
13.
me? 8 kills to 2.
Criterize has been picked up, so we have rerunning Criterize on Brightwing. That's very standard stuff. I mean, additional 25% damage. It's almost like a Hunter's Mark, except they can't do anything while they're marked. It's a really strong talent, and we have the Brood expansion here. Actually, grabbing Giant Killer is quite interesting here on Zagara, but considering their composition, it makes a lot of sense.
So level 13 talent for Zagara. That's the increased range and damage output on the
for the Hydralisk. You can either get Mutalisk
okay.
or you can get the increased range and damage on a Hydra. But he opted for Giant Killer because they have double tank. I mean, they have a really tanky composition, so opting for the additional damage there.
Okay. And she's probably just been looking at the way the team fight's been unfolding and saying, I've been getting a lot of auto attacks off. This is justified.
I mean, she also
took in
got
Venom
Spines.
Yep.
Yeah, and not in Venom. So it makes a lot of sense here.
Ooh,
but
no.
Y is going to get picked off here, and that's
getting out of there.
EG needs to back
wow,
up.
what a rotation. Okay, that's a really clutch maw.
And we're looking at this here. Poom goes on to Idra right away. Idra needs to sprint on out of here, throws his wall down to zone them out. But this is still a full-on retreat. Idra, I mean, Faye is going to get picked off here. No maw ready. Idra's backing up. That's going to be the top shrine going here to Wildfire. And we see that the rotation is coming out of Fan to the bottom shrine to make sure they can't get the Dragon Knight with ease.
Wow, what a play, though, from Wildfire. That was they just knew that EG was overextending. We love to call that little bridge there that's in front of the top keep, the Bridge of Death. For good reason. It puts you just in a really narrow passageway. There's only one way to escape. Wildfire was well aware of this. They're like, I think they're on the end of that bridge. We'll just rotate up. They caught Kawhi Rice was a little bit too far back. We do see another little skirmish happening up here for the top shrine.
But they're going on Idra almost instantaneously, and he is in fact being locked down by Poom. But with Brightwing coming in here and throwing down the Ravenous Spirit from point-blank range, there's no interruption available.
Oh my
Kawhi
gosh.
Rice with Blink Heal
The
is actually
sustain.
keeping him alive. He needs to continue casting spells and getting the Blink Heal off again once more. They're going to actually steal a shrine, and Idra lived through that entirely because Blink Heal.
Yeah, there was no way he was getting out of there, and I thought it was a good snap call, or at least it looks in the end to be a good snap call. And I like the position that Fan's putting himself in to just sort of guarantee that body block.
Really, really nicely done, picking up the kill there on Malfurion as well. The aggression going back into EG here, still having that 2-level lead. Level 16 talents almost available here for Wildfire. And we'll take a look as those populate in just a moment.
Sure. Yeah, actually Gust of Healing was taken for Brightwing. That's an
it's
activatable.
It's working out.
Yeah, activatable trait that pops up. So every second for 4 seconds you get a trait that pops up. There's a cooldown of 60 seconds on that. So that's just to sort of even more amplify the burst healing.
It's a lot of burst. Yeah, exactly. Without that, Brightwing doesn't really have a lot of burst. All Brightwing has is Protective Shield, that and Blink. So this is actually as much burst healing. This build is the maximum amount of burst healing you can give to a Brightwing, period.
Sure.
Storm Shield at 20 is likely what we will see out of Brightwing as well. So looking good. Dragon Knight here for EG. That's 3-0 in terms of Dragon Knights?
Yeah, definitely is. Actually, Wildfire has put almost no pressure onto any of the structures on EG's side. Maybe they've taken a tower here and there, but this game's pretty much been all EG, except for that last team fight we saw from Wildfire where they rotated up. EG is looking super strong.
Yeah, and you know, we're seeing some weird stuff. I mean, we're seeing Idra playing Nazeeb, we're seeing Idra playing Abathur. Some different roles out of them. Faye has always been a very flexible character. We're seeing a lot more flexibility out of Idra, which is nice to see. Kawhi being the new support, of course, Idra does in fact.
Yeah, he got a little
rooted.
Little greedy there. Yeah. It was a situation. They knew that Idra was in there, and the only escape that he has is sprint. He did take sprint. So I mean, like, given the chance to leave, he was expecting to just sprint and run away. Wildfire was on top of that. They had the root available. They had the Howling Blast to capitalize after that. There was no way he was getting out as long as they timed things correctly. So he should have backed up a little bit. They really wanted that keep.
Yep. Of course, they can't get the Merc Lord bonus while Idra is dead. We see Wildfire opting to grab the Merc camps that they can. They feel they have the aggression with Idra down. They know they're safe to take this Night camp.
I mean, a lot of their team is built around Idra and being able to put out that Ravenous Spirit and do a ton of damage. So it makes sense for them to press, put a bit of pressure on while he's dead.
Well, we have Wildfire putting a lot of aggression on this bottom lane. They do, in fact, have Bims who can get that siege damage in there on those towers. Just having all 5 members in general, these towers are going to fall very quickly. Knights are there as well. Idra is, in fact, alive once more. He's making his way down to this bottom lane, and we are going to have a team fight here if Wildfire does not back.
We're going to see Idra kind of poking around. Idra right now is trying to make the decision, like, are we going to have a fight here, and do I need to rotate up around the backside to try and get a good position for my Ravenous Spirit?
Now Brightwing's going to have to come to Mookie Pants almost instantaneously. We see the phase shift is happening here, and we have Blink Heal available. The Maw goes down, and where's the follow-up? The Ravenous, like we talked about earlier. Immediately seeing Panda Pals going on to Idra, but he cannot actually stun Idra.
Yeah.
That Ravenous is just continuing to do work.
Yeah, that's sort of the big issue with Wildfire's composition. They're probably hoping to burn him down as fast as possible, and that's going to be the end of Plume there for sure. Yakona barely escaping Bims with enough HP, of course, but the only knockback they have is Rain of Vengeance. If they can't get close enough, then too bad for them. And the Concussive Blast on Sergeant Hammer.
I like this call to grab the Knights and then the try. Actually, no, they're going straight for the keep.
They can do it.
Yeah.
They have 2 of some of the best pushers in the game.
You're right. And with Tychus there supporting as well, you have the Wall and the Roaches and the Hydras to soak up tower shots. Just a lot of aggression available here. Really cool play. They have the clear, they have a free Dragon Knight available for them, but they know the timer is still waiting for them, and taking a keep immediately is well worth it.
Hey, Jake, this is the second time I've seen Skullcracker taken from Murd in here, and assuming we don't see a fight. Actually, I think you just rewinded double dwarf toss there. You really want it out. Okay, but yeah, Skullcracker. No, we saw ZPs actually grab this. I think it was last Sunday for ESL, and it's every 3rd auto attack against the same target will provide a 1/4 second stun.
It's pretty good.
It makes sense if you're dealing with a stationary target that's channeling something that you need to interrupt, but that's not the case because Nazebo's on this team. There's really no one on the other team you want to interrupt.
But you also consider that with the Ravenous Spirit, if they're trying to run from it, it just continues to lock them down again and again and again.
Yeah, but Murden's the same speed as everybody else, right?
Sure.
So is he actually going to land 3 consecutive auto attacks? It's an odd choice. I'd like to hear people's thoughts on that, like why they're starting to switch over to that.
Well, yeah, it's true, but we do have the Dragon Knight doing a lot of work here. Boom, taking a ton of damage from that Polymorph, and he actually ends up falling. He does have Panda Pals available, but he wasn't able to get it off because the Poly lasted just long enough. A huge play to get him in that last possible second. Pickles is likely going to fall as well here. Murd is just warp tossing himself on in, throwing the hammer down. Indra's still got another 25 seconds available on this Dragon Knight, and this keep is going to be the 3rd and final keep to fall here on the side of Wildfire.
Yeah. This is going to be very, very close to the end of the game. I don't see why EG shouldn't push in here. Really, Wildfire needs to just deal with the Dragon Knight as fast as possible and try to get that similar thing down where they just put down a ton of CCs on him and try to eliminate him as fast as possible. Idra is able to back up. At this point, he has sprint. He can really run away if needed.
Completely disregarding the enemy team and just blowing up the floor to end it. 2-0 Evil Geniuses will advance here in our bracket.
Yeah, I was going to say really nice Rain of Vengeance there, and then I looked over at the health of the core. I was like, oh, doesn't matter.
Just completely disregarding the team.
Yeah, you're right, though. EG showed some really solid play there. It looks like the addition of throwing Fan in hasn't really affected their communication and their effectiveness as a team. In fact, if anything, I'd say they're looking stronger than ever right now.
I want to talk about Kawhi's build, because I'm very picky in the way I build Brightwing. And at first I saw his build, and I didn't say anything during the game. I didn't want to criticize it until I saw it play out. Holy crap, I'm going to use that build.
I was waiting for you to be like, it wasn't that good.
No,
okay.
Holy crap, I can't wait to use that build, because there were so many scenarios where EG had no right living, and no one died. It's like the kind of style we see out of Malfurion, where you get Life Seed, where you get that maximum amount of
Super,
healing. Just
super
go
heal,
super,
yeah.
super heal. The Gust of Healing. The big benefit to it is when you go Regenerative Rains. That's the other option that's available on that tier, which makes it so that every time you cast a spell, whether it's your Pixie Dust or your Arcane Flare or your Polymorph, you use your Pulse, and it does like 75% healing. They've nerfed it once or twice. I think it's 75% healing of the normal amount that it would do from your pulse to everyone around you. So it's encouraging you to blow all your spells as often as possible. But Brightwing runs out of mana pretty quick. Gust of Healing, don't have that problem.
That's
you just
true.
get a lot of healing at once.
It's a good spin on that. I hadn't thought about the mana aspect of it.
Yeah. So really cool stuff. I actually wish I looked at the total healing at the end of the game. I wish I had checked that for you guys.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I apologize there, but well played to EG, and let's
Yes, absolutely.
take a look at our bracket.
Hey, did chat come to consensus here?
I was not watching it.
Oh, of course. Yeah, me neither. So we're gonna have to see if we have some honest people here. Do we have anyone that?
You got to remember the 2-minute delay makes it tough to.
Oh
chat.
yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Now, Evil Geniuses will in fact be advancing to Face Cloud and Vortex. Wildfire is going to be falling out of the tournament. It's a single limb event.
It is. Yeah, it is a single limb event.
Bracket.
That is a good point. So if you lose, you are out. It is, of course, just a qualifier event. This is qualifying for the 5th Kings of the Storm, which will... I don't know if it will happen exactly at the end of the month. We're pretty close to it. But that's what teams are playing for right now.
And we're still waiting on a result out of Glorious and Bagel, we're calling them.
Bagel.
Right now. And, of course, we're going to see EG advancing to face Cloud and Vortex. And we're going to wait for you guys to vote on our next match. So for the time being, I think we're going to throw to a quick commercial break to prepare for our next game, figure out where we're going to be going for our next match, of course. So, guys, stay with us. We'll be back in just a few with some more Heroes of the Storm.